Hello guys, welcome. We got a great treat for you today. We have Master Nobu, who I'll be talking to, trying to get a little bit of the story of how he got into bonsai and what bonsai means to him. Master Nobu, how did you get into bonsai?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yes, my involvement with bonsai goes back many years. Before I encountered bonsai, perhaps I was sort of average Japanese. Knew the term, but never seen a tree bonsai in my life. And the first encounter took place when I organized an overseas event in Rotterdam, Holland, in which we invited the participants from all way cultural venues of Japan. And one of them was a bonsai presentation, exhibition of bonsai in Holland, and masters appearing on the venue, doing some demonstrations and talks. So that was the first time I got involved with bonsai. And in Holland, not in Japan, I saw the bonsai for the first time. I kept visiting the master who was present in Holland, and started to be fascinated by this world. And then this master kindly gave me small treat presents, just like this one here. And every time he gave me, they died. And one day I went to the master and asked, do you think I could be your apprentice? And he was a bit taken aback by this because he knew what the life of a bonsaist would be like, and he knew what sort of life I was leading in Tokyo. I convinced him that I was serious in my intention because all my friends then thought I would be back in Tokyo after a few months.
So they were not convinced that you were going to stick it out?
Well, it was beyond them to imagine that, a person like myself could lead really country life.
Oh, right.
So, but that didn't happen. That's how I got into bonsai, and then it coincided with the translocation of their nursery from this place near Tokyo to farther out in the country.
Oh, I see.
So I helped them build the nursery from scratch, and helped them, yes, in a very small way. Nursery is originally in Kawaguchi, which is the neighboring township just across the river from Tokyo. And then we moved on to a place called Fukaya, which is the north of Saitama Prefecture. And it takes about an hour, maybe 2 hours from where it was. In those days, apprentices used to live in the house with the family, or they had sort of detached house for the apprentices. But because of my age and so on, I suggested that I would live on my own, and so I rented this small apartment near the nursery and commuted from there.
So you say you're a mature student when you started bonsai?
Very much.
Excellent.
I was 35, yes. As always the case, I only remember very pleasant things from those 5 years I spent in this country. Being an apprentice, you would have to do everything, not just works on trees. So I was number one chauffeur for the whole family. So because of the very country, remote location, for shopping, for going to the station, everyone needed, cars. So I did all the shuttling and so on. And then gradually, the seasonal work starts, and so repotting and then watering and pruning and so on. But the way it is done in Japan in this situation is that they would show you how it's done, and you would pay maximum attention to see how it's done, and then you just do it yourself, and then show it to the master and said, he would say just, that's okay, or it's not okay. And then when it's not okay, you just have to do it again. Yes, there's no sort of structures, teaching, and so on. And then at 10 o'clock sharp, always had break for tea, and wife of my master would always produce nice pots of tea and sweets for everyone. We drink tea, sip tea, and chat for about half an hour, and then we go back to work. So I thought I was a quick learner, and after 5 years, I could do what they could do, at least on the surface. But I had no idea why it was done, why it worked, and so on. That was to be studied once I left the apprenticeship. Yeah. That I was then given permanent residence in the UK because of the work I did before, and I didn't have any family sort of heritage in bonsai world, so I didn't have nursery to call my own, or parents didn't have it. So no possibility to pursue bonsai career in Japan. But I thought in Europe, I knew bonsai was catching up, and in a very enthusiastic way. So I thought I would make myself useful for those people, and at the same time earn sort of meager living. And that's why I had decided, even when I started the apprenticeship, that I would eventually come back to Europe and work with European bonsai people. I encountered several major importers from Europe, one in Italy, one in Germany. And once they knew of my plan to go back to Europe, they were very thrilled, as much as I was thrilled that I could be working with them and for them. So that's how I started. So when I came back to the UK, where I had a residency, I started to work in Europe first, and then gradually I developed clientele in the UK. Yeah. I enjoy teaching very much because that's, for me it's very rewarding to discuss trees, what trees mean to us, and so on. So I do classes, workshops, courses, and I spent probably half the year outside UK, in countries like Italy, Switzerland, Poland. I do also once in Germany, and then of course in the UK. So that's how my year goes.
Yeah. So is it just teaching, or do you look after clients' trees also?
It all started as teaching, even for the individuals, but some of them do have very important collection of bonsai trees. And so I sort of shifted to helping them with the improvement of the trees through annual seasonal works.
Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Kew,
okay.
and the Kew story.
Kew story, yes. One of the first UK clients was this very nice couple, English couple, very well-known collectors of bonsai in this country, and so I was very happy to earn first client, and I worked on a regular basis at their garden to do all the necessary works to keep up with their collection trees and improve them if possible. And so this went on for about, I think, 10 years. And the couple, in the meantime, became rather elderly and were thinking of retiring into the country. And then they started to look for a nice home where the collection trees would be taken over too, and then be looked after well, and so on. And the solution they found was a donation to the Botanical Garden of Kew. And when this was finalized, and then I was also asked to, be transferred with the collection to Kew, and oversee the takeover period. So I was first training the Kew staff about watering of bonsai. And in the first couple of years, I did most of the work, pruning and repotting and that sort of work. And then, according to the agreement they had with the Kew, they recruited staff who would be exclusively attending the Bonsai Collection and working for them. And when the person was finally selected, and I started to work with him, and transfer all the necessary know-how, right? Keeping up with the trees and then improving the trees on a year-in, year-out basis. Yes, and I think we did it 4 or 5 years on a regular basis. And in the end, he proved to be a very competent bonsai expert by then. And so I happily left the Kew connection there at that. Even now and then I paid a visit, and I was very happy to see the trees really doing well, and definitely showing signs of improvement since the transfer of the collection. So that was very good.
It is a significant part of the bonsai collection in the UK. Mm-hmm. They are quite.
Yes, and then it would enable others to leave their trees if they didn't have any other home to leave trees to.